How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Feeling good this week. Feeling in a good energy.
Yes, isn't it? I mean, off the bat, we're right in the middle of this full moon, aren't we? In Aquarius, is that right? And
Aquarius, yeah.
and I thought I just had the idea that maybe we start off talking about the moon, and given your astrological understandings, how important it is. In everyone's lives, the moon. I mean, it's important in all sorts of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the moon represents the emotions and the mother kind of nurturing, nourishing kind of aspects of our life. So the moon in anyone's astrological chart is going to be a significant thing always. The sun, moon, rising, the three most significant placements. So, but the moon is what makes us feel safe as well, because safety, the representing the mother. So, yeah, it's really interesting. All the different moon signs that you get in astrology is like we all actually need different things. We're not all the same in that regard. Like different things keep us safe or help us to feel safe, depending on what moon sign you've got and what aspects there are to the moon. So that's why you get some people who feel a bit stressed and agitated under a full moon, and other people who are just like, oh, this is amazing. Like it's like a love potion.
Which has been me this
Yeah,
week.
exactly. And it's felt really nice to be. Oh, I mean, did you see the moon last night? Oh, it was so
Oh,
beautiful. It
it
was
was really,
absolutely stunning as it was
yeah.
coming up in the sky. And where I was, the sky was pink and the moon, the full moon was rising and it was absolutely stunning. And the moon is like a little love drug to me. I can just sit there going, oh, the moon is amazing. And I love, sometimes I'll go down to the ocean and watch it rise over the horizon. Oh, it's my favorite thing to do.
It's actually
Amazing.
interesting you bring up the ocean because it's very, very clear. We know really, really clearly how significant the moon is scientifically, even, like in the
Yeah.
way that it pulls the water around the planet, tides and things like that. Its magnetic pull, there's all that, law, LORE around, full moon and lunatic asylums and how
Yes.
everyone goes a bit crazy at the full moon. There's a
Yes.
lot of myth around it.
There
It's
is.
there's been a lot of um, talk and investigation and research into it. And we went there apparently, and all of those things, like it. And now they're talking about, I just was reading the other day, they're talking about how we've really got to try and understand how we're going to manage the different countries on Earth and their relationship to the moon and who's going there and who's doing what, where, and all of
Oh,
this.
okay. Like in
So
the
it
space kind of the space programs
yeah,
and everything. Okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
like even though the first time we went there was 60s, wasn't
In the
it?
60s.
1960s. So we're talking 80
Allegedly.
years, 60 years ago,
Yeah.
roundabout. Allegedly, about this conspiracy there. Um, but we've been fascinated by it before then, and so it's really significant, isn't
It's
it? Really?
real. The moon has always been significant. Like I'm obsessed with the moon. I'm obsessed with it. I love the moon. I just love watching the moon. I'm always looking at the sky. I always know exactly what moon phase we're in, the waxing, waning, gibbous crescent, all of that. I absolutely obsessed with the moon. But you're right, like in history, it's been one of the most important things. In fact, just a few days ago, I've got a neighbor who grew up in the Kalahari in South Africa, and he grew up on the land. And just the other day, he was saying, like, we knew when it was raining because when the moon's a smile, it scoops the water and then it throws the rain. And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. He said it doesn't work here in Australia, but in the Kalahari in South Africa, when the moon is like a smile, like a bucket, it catches the rain, it catches the water, and we knew it was going to rain, and it always did. So people have used it, for
Amazing.
centuries. I know it's just,
I
I was
didn't
just
know
like,
that
oh, that's amazing.
aspect to it.
No,
That's
well,
incredible.
I know. So, but farmers have used it for centuries, and like you say, every culture on Earth has used the moon in some way, or some cultures make a moon god or something like that, like moon worship or moon rituals or something like that. So, yeah, in every culture, I think the moon is a prominent and important, significant figure. And I can see why, because I absolutely love the moon.
Yeah. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Because as you were talking about that, all of these rituals that different people in different parts of the world and different cultures and civilizations have had around not only the moon, but the earth, but the planets, but the sea and just thinking about, recently the movie The Odyssey, and Homer's poem and all of those gods that meant this and that and the Greek mythology. And then you sort of bundle all of this up and it's, man's search for meaning all the time, isn't it? Who are
Mm,
we? Why are we here? What are we doing? And what makes sense to us at any
mm,
given time to explain our very existence. I mean, it's a big
mm.
question. And we're always searching for that. And astrology is one of the things that can kind of start to demystify some of the story, I think,
Well,
sometimes.
I think so. I believe that, especially if we're talking about the moon sign, because that it is different. Like what we like is different. Like if we give an example, like your moon is in Pisces, so like if I've ever asked you like what makes you feel like really safe or really happy, and it's always water, isn't it? Like there's something to do with water for you.
Yeah. Yep.
So, in fact, the question that I don't know where I heard this from, but it was a while ago, and I read it somewhere, and it was like you can tell a person's moon sign by what they do when they walk into a forest. And I think I asked you the same question, and you said you'd have a trickling stream or something like that. Like you would find the water source and sit by it. Which is really beautiful. You've got a Pisces moon, so obviously water's going to be really evident. But I've got a Virgo moon, and I'm really interested in the details. And when I go into a forest, I just want to lay on the floor and look at all the little insect worlds or like the little moss or lichen that's growing onto the trees or the bark. Like I'm, my face is like this close, and I'm looking at the patination in things, and I just want to absorb all the fine details in the forest. So that's my moon sign. So, and you can go through each one, which I won't do, but that's one way to get to know yourself, isn't it? Is to like, well, what ask those exploratory questions. What do you want to do when you look in the forest? Some people say they want to look up to the sky through the canopy. Everyone's
Yeah.
got a different thing that they want to do. Some people want to be in
Yeah.
a tree and like be held within the tree. So it's a
Yeah.
lovely question. So maybe
Mm,
if everyone does that and see what they come up with, and then
mm,
go check your moon sign out in astrology and
yeah.
see if it resonates with you.
Isn't it interesting where we're going to with this? Because when you're saying all of that, I'm thinking we really do want to know ourselves,
Mm,
not so much to be the same as anyone else, but to
mm,
really understand our own individuality. And there are many ways to do that, and astrology is
mm.
one of the many.
It's just one of
It
many,
gives us
yeah.
permission to be who we are, doesn't it?
Mm.
In
Yeah,
a
and
way?
it does. Gives us permission to, yeah, it does. And it also offers a framework. Like if you've got no idea who you are, then it gives you a set of questions. Well, do you like this or do you like this? So that's obviously a good way. And there's many different frameworks that you can use. Doesn't have to be astrology. But I think we all want to know who we are. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone, have you, that doesn't want to know who they are?
It's
Maybe.
really, really, it forms the basis of our questing self, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I love that questing self. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
see.
forms the basis of it. You think about everyone loves to get a tarot reading, or everyone loves,
Mm.
well, everyone, not everyone, but there's a lot of people out there who our eyes light up when someone says, "Oh, let's do a tarot reading," or want to understand our ancestry.
Yeah, absolutely. Their family
or
lineage or something. Yeah.
yeah, or
Like
where
what
we
culture
came
they're
from, what our
from. Yeah.
country, I'm
Yeah.
thinking at the moment, going to the UK later in the year. The last time I was in the UK was in my 20s when I lived there for a little while. And I remember feeling like I was back where I belonged somehow, which
Mm.
makes sense, racially,
Mm.
having had that ancestry and then moving, that ancestry moving over to Australia, like
Mm.
it's so profound. And so all of these things, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're investigating, give you
Mm.
this bigger aspect to yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah, and a sense of belonging, which I think is so important. Everyone is also searching for that because that's how we're, as humans, are hardwired. We're hardwired to belong. It's an evolutionary thing. And so it is, yeah. And like you say, whenever people have heritage overseas, then they do always feel a connection to the land. It is the land usually, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's really, really beautiful. And I know for myself, like I was born in the UK and grew up there, and I've lived in Australia longer than I've ever lived in the UK now. And it does feel different. I'm more connected to, it would be the land rather than the people. I guess but then I don't know if that is just because nature is my thing, I don't know. But
Yes.
here in Australia, I feel actually really connected to Australia too. And I don't have a family lineage here, but I feel connected to the land, but it feels different. I can
Mm.
sense the energetics of that feels different.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I wonder how that feels for you. Is it always the land or is it the people too, or is it the culture? Like, because,
Australia does feel like home. There's
yeah.
definitely no question about that. But it was just interesting when I wasn't here where I felt that it's sort of different, same, but different.
Yeah, it's a
It's
different,
so
yeah.
interesting. It's like there's some deep whispering when
Yeah,
I was over there, whereas this
yeah,
is sort of more now, but the deep whispering was back over there.
yeah.
So it's yeah,
Mhm.
it's
I
I'm
love the
also
way that you
wondering what
said
it
that.
does when we don't feel like we belong, how that might
Yeah.
play itself out for us, in
Mm.
different ways, or if we don't feel connected to where we are.
Yes. Yeah. Um, and again, perhaps that's going to be different for people because some people feel connected to people and some people feel more connected to the nature and the land of the place that they're in. For me, it's definitely the land, which is takes a prominent thing. Yeah, I wonder how that is
Yeah,
for different people. I'd be interested to know
yeah.
because for some people, it is the actual people that they feel connected to.
And then there's the question of people who have had to leave the place that they feel
Mm.
connected to, and how traumatic that must be, and have to be somewhere else
Yeah,
because they
especially if it's
can't actually be where
involuntary.
they belong.
I
Yeah.
think that's awful. Yeah, if it's not their
Mm,
choice, then
mm,
yeah, because it's like a soul's yearning, isn't it? It's like, no, it
mm,
doesn't feel right. So I
mm,
really would think that's very difficult.
mm. Yeah, a sense of place is very important for our mental health, isn't it? Or
Mm.
just it's very important beyond even our mental health for our sense of ourselves.
Mm. It
And
is, yeah.
and we get that, as you say, either from the land or from the people, or a bit of both,
Or a bit of both, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Not everything's so binary, is it?
No.
I just mean for me on that like really deep energetic level, it's the land. But I never used to have that. Um, but that's my form of meditation because I don't do traditional meditation, is to just sit in the land somewhere on some piece of grass or just anywhere in nature and really connect in with the micro world, back to that Virgo moon, the details of the land. So I do feel connected to that, but I never always had that. But it does feel so much more solid now that I have that
Mm,
practice as a daily practice. Like every single day, I'll go for a walk and we talk about like the energetics of a place. Like I'll use the nature around me, and that it's so connected to how I regulate my own emotions or like nervous system because if I'm feeling really chaotic inside and I need calmness, I will go to a calm, still water body. So, like a dam or a lake, something that doesn't flow to calm. And it's almost like mirroring with nature, and then it calms me. But if I feel really stuck and stagnant, I'll go to the ocean because the big crashing waves is a huge amount of energy. And I sense that, and like I can feel the energy of it, and it kind of starts to shift the stuckness and the stagnancy within me. So
Yeah.
I use nature on a daily basis to um, harmonize with my own mood or system or whatever you want to call it.
And isn't it, aren't we so lucky to have that nature near us? You know,
Mm,
we both have an experience of being able to get to those places pretty easily. And
yes. Yeah.
that hasn't always been the case for me.
Mm,
And I look back now and I think I was so grateful to learn the whole creative visualization thing
mm.
because
Oh
I
yeah.
think the power of our minds is very, very important too, and our innate ability to visualize or even get a sense of. Some people say they don't visualize, and that's fair. They're not visual people, but you can get a sense of something if you've experienced it in the past, you know, like
Yeah.
you can take yourself to the experience of being at the beach or being beside a body of water or in a piece of nature somewhere. And invariably you can actually use that in the same way, in my view. And I
Absolutely.
do that all
Yeah.
the time with clients, particularly when they're
Yeah.
living in big cities, you know
Yeah.
you can't necessarily find that riverbank or the lake or the parkland or it's not it's just not feasible in that particular moment.
Yeah.
And so it's so clever the way we're designed.
It is like you've always got access to something. And I'd like yeah, I've got two things to say to that because I really firstly agree, and I'll come back to the visualization in a minute. But even in
Mm,
a city, you don't have to have the ocean or the forest or the like, even in a city, you can still change your perspective, I find. So even if it's not perhaps nature, but like if you're in a really busy city, can you get to a high point? Can you get to a rooftop and see the bigger picture? Like change there's always something. And cities often have little parks or like little pockets of just something. But I understand that there's constraints that some people just don't have, like even the time perhaps to go and sit or something like that, or go and travel to sit there or something like that. Um, but back to the visualization, absolutely. I mean, there's millions of studies done on that. Like, our brain doesn't know if we've actually physically experienced something or we just mentally do. That's
yeah,
the whole, like, that's why, dream work works as it does, because it's the imaginal world. And that's why some of the trauma modalities work, because it's the visualization of something, and our brain can't differentiate if we've actually experienced it or not. It's also when people get stuck in negative memories or like PTSD, is that they're reliving it and they feel like they're reliving it because it's a flashback and a memory and things like that. So
exactly,
so it
exactly.
absolutely is very, very significant and important that visualization, yeah, it does work in a negative way. It works in a positive way. So you can actually use that and harness that to your advantage. And you have that wherever you are,
Yeah,
even if
exactly.
you're,
You can be sitting in the middle of an office.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if you can close your eyes for even a couple of minutes and imagine or just get a sense that you've just been in or you are at a beach or the last time you went to a piece of nature
yeah,
and
yeah,
use the memory of that. And as you say,
yes,
the mind doesn't know the difference between actually imagining it and actually doing it. It will
yeah,
still respond in the same way through the nervous system. So you don't get
absolutely.
that either way. And that whole idea of, oh, I couldn't possibly be able to do that. I
Mm,
haven't come across anyone yet who hasn't been able to experience a down regulation from just putting some attention on a past experience of
yeah,
that
yeah,
in
because you
whatever
don't.
way or form, if that
That's right,
makes
because
sense.
it does, because you don't need to be a visual person. You don't need to visualize it. In fact, like the optimal thing is you visualize it, you feel it, and you really, really get into the felt sense of it. But
Hmm.
you can remove the visualization and just get into the felt sense
Felt
of it,
sense.
you know?
Exactly.
So
Well put.
absolutely, yeah, that works too.
Yes.
So use all the other senses too, like, oh, can I remember what it tasted like? Can I remember the wind on what it felt like? Can I remember the sound? So you use all the senses. And if you've got one sense that's not particularly strong with you, then go to the other ones and the ones that are most strong for you and really remember it through your senses.
Mm.
And you've got access to that anywhere, you know? So like you
Yeah,
say, yeah, it's
it's
wonderful.
so empowering.
Yeah,
It's empowering because you don't need anything for it. You don't
absolutely. Yeah,
need to
exactly. I
don't
mean,
need
how
an app
amazing is
for
that?
it. You don't need a special device to listen to it. You don't need, you just simply can do it in a toilet cubicle at the
You
office,
literally can. Yeah,
potentially.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, absolutely.
just for a few minutes.
3 hours later, you
Yeah,
can walk back into the office.
sorry, I lost track of time.
It's funny you say that though. Like before I knew any of the when I worked in corporate when I was in my 20s
Mm,
and I had no clue of any of this kind of thing, I would go to the toilet like way more than I actually needed to just to get that like shut the door, just that little space, you know. I needed a
yeah.
little bit of space. So it's yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
You
what
could
it's reminded you of that.
it's reminded me of that, but you could use that for like meditation and to go into a different thing. For me, I was just hiding
Yeah.
from the office politics. But
The more that I learn about the way we operate from our minds, the more in awe I am of how beautifully designed we are to support ourselves through life. And I
yes.
think it's about learning that. I think it's about learning how we operate and come circling all the way back to where we started from. Know thyself,
Mm,
understand who we are. I think
yes.
that is it. It's like understand what my needs are, understand how I can support myself. And you've got it. We've all got it there, the resources to do it. We just have to become enlightened about them
Yeah, and
in a
embrace
way.
all of them as well, because back to the design of ourselves as humans, everything's got a reason. Like we cry tears because it actually does something, to help us release and process emotion. Sadness is an emotion that shouldn't be suppressed, just like all the emotions, but we're kind of told that they're bad, but they're not. All the parts of us, all the design of us is perfectly actually designed. And so it's not about having a goal of like to be happy every day. It's just the goal, I see the goal is to embrace all parts of everything, is to fully acknowledge them, and sit in the whatever they're presenting you at that time and then move it
Mm.
into something else if needed.
Well,
But
when
like
we
you say, it's
can,
like knowing
yeah,
yourself and understanding yourself back to that point.
yeah. And when we use the things like astrology or talking to someone or, opening up our psyches to ourselves, it then allows us to be more accepting and therefore to really come to a deeper and deeper understanding of ourselves. Because I often say to clients, like when we're in that judgment, when we judge ourselves, parts of ourselves go into hiding.
Yeah, they
We
do.
don't, we don't, they're not allowed to come into our consciousness, quite understandably, because we've got an idea about them and that's not acceptable somehow. And
Mm.
so that leaves us open to responses and situations that we find ourselves in that we're not ready for because a part of us comes out at that time and we think, well, what just happened?
Yeah.
So it everything that we do that is for our benefit is to get to know ourselves. It sounds a bit clunky, I think, but it's sort of a big subject, I suppose. But everything that we're doing, whether we go seek out some help from somewhere else, or we learn about astrology, or we look into rituals, or we look at our ancestry, we think about our previous generations and what they went through and how that might have affected us. I love the ancestry work. I love the generational work. Um, all of it is is bringing parts of ourselves home to ourselves. We're all, you know, got these pieces of ourselves sort of a bit detached, and we just need to just bring them all home, in this
Mm.
way.
Yeah, and
And when we
integrate
do
them.
that, yeah, exactly. When we do that and we start to walk in this more whole way through our lives, so exciting. And then
Mm.
we really can understand the incredible, our incredible nature.
Mm. And the questing. I still love the word questing. Yeah,
The quest
the
itself is
questing to kind
that,
of, yeah,
is to
come to
bring all
that point.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like you said, when you suppress certain parts, because we do, they're the protective mechanisms. When we suppress that, it takes a lot of energy to do so. So if you're going into any situation having to manage all the parts or suppress them all, then there's a lot of energy being involved in that where you're not then able to just be open. Because if you think like when you're most relaxed and you're most happy, it's like a it's like everything just relaxes and opens. And it's the most beautiful thing. And it's beautiful when you can be in the space of another human and do that too, when you're both in that lovely space. So, yeah, the questing is to understand why you do all of these things or why you react in certain ways or why you feel certain things and sense it all in your body. Because if there's any tension or like, you know, stiffness or kind of yeah, it's like it's not open enough. Like I don't know, I'm not very
yeah. No,
explaining that
no, no, you're
well, but you
explaining
know
it
what I mean.
perfectly. And that's exactly the point. The point is there that deep relaxation comes via understanding,
It
potentially.
does, yeah, and like you said, like not judging. So acceptance perhaps is the opposite of that. Is accepting all of these things and not judging and not putting any narrative on it. Is just being, just yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't live in that all day. I understand that's not unless you go live on a mountaintop or something like it's
Oh,
impossible because we obviously part of our design is to react to things or to, we can't always be in that. It's not always safe to do that and if you're going
no,
about your day, but it's
that's it.
finding those little magical moments throughout the day to really feel into that and, I guess that's what's called being present. I don't know.
Well, I think that's probably a good point to end on in a way, because what is presence and how do we get to it? And it's an ongoing unfolding, and a deeper, a deep understanding, which leads to relaxation, opening, and supporting ourselves in our
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and feeling safe enough within ourselves and all of those things. But yeah, it is. It is.
Mm.
So yeah, I think
So,
that's lovely. Lovely
all
chat.
roads lead to the same thing, whether it be go find an astrology reading, go visualize or get a sense of being in nature, whatever
Yes.
brings you back to yourself and
Yes.
gives you an opportunity to understand yourself is the point.
Yeah, in whichever way that feels good for you, because you don't, if you're not into astrology, you certainly don't need to go down that road.
No,
And you
absolutely not.
just there's so many ways of doing the same thing. So find the one that resonates for you and
Yep.
embrace it and learn about it and gain the knowledge and then live it and use it practically as well.
Yep.
And the questing road will lead you somewhere.
It. Very good.